Danas and internationals, welcome to yet another wonderland we here tend to call the Tube, and these are the rides we're taking tonight. Edward Snowden gave an amazing speech where, you'll see in a sec, wearable technology is closer and better looking than ever. What is data journalism? An amazing treat to gamers out there, the Social Watch and more. But let's start in Veneto. Where? Let's start. It's not just happening in Crimea. Italians in Venice and its surrounding regions are voting this week on whether to break away from the rest of the country and form their own country. Local activists and parties have launched an online referendum to secede from Italy and declare an independent republic of Veneto. Venice was at one time an independent republic for about, 1100 years. Now the touristic city is going at it again. The organizers said that after the first day, almost 500,000 people voted online using a personal code organizers mailed to residents of the region. That would be almost 12% of the people with a right to vote in Veneto, according to organizers. Despite its lofty ambitions, the referendum won't be legally binding as it's not recognized by either the national government in Rome or the local regional government. Okay, Nate Silver. Nate Silver first made a name for himself when he correctly predicted the outcome for 49 out of 50 states in the 2008 American presidential election. He leveraged that into a role as a blogger for the New York Times, and after beating every other pundit by a wide margin during the 2012 elections with a perfect 50-for-50 prediction, he got his own website funded by ESPN. This week, that website, 538.com, launched to the public with a focus on data journalism. The new site will cover everything from sports to science to politics, with an emphasis on finding creative ways to tell stories. Most people will come to the site to read not the news of today, but the news of tomorrow. One of those people might be web culture researcher and Doctor of Physics, Shachar Evendar Mandel, with us here in the studio. Good evening.
Good evening.
So, what exactly makes Nate Silver such a unique phenomenon?
Well, first of all, he's very talented and he's very wise. You can't take that away from him. I think he also is rather good with public relations. There are other people in the academic statisticians that have very similar models with about the same accuracy. None of them leveraged this to become such a media star.
But what did he do to online journalism?
Well, I think what he did, or at least he has a leading role in, is finally taking this whole big data and data science, which is perhaps one of the leading trends in math and in science, and he's taking it into journalism, and he's leading this motion of science into journalism.
Yeah, you're going to have to explain that to people like me that are not, scientists in any way. What is data journalism?
Okay, so first of all, you have to understand what data science is.
Explain.
And data science is about saying, okay, we now have huge amounts of data. And this data can be anything from mapping of genes to observations of stars to traffic in websites. And we can now accumulate huge amounts of data. And once the data is too large to actually analyze it with conventional models, with conventional equations, okay, I won't say conventional, perhaps conventional is the wrong word, but what you now have to do is to try and tackle the whole data together, everything together, to find the correlations, to find what is the meaningful signal within all this data, and what is just noise, just background noise, which might appear to be...
Give me a simple example.
A simple example...
Maybe the elections in America?
Okay, the elections are, of course, a great example, and we can go backwards to where Nate Silver actually started. Nate Silver started by having a boring job as a consultant, and during this time, he just had a huge Excel file on his computer in which he accumulated statistics about baseball players. And what he managed to find the correlations between the performance of a player at a given year to the performance in the next year. And he managed to predict which players are going to make it and become stars and which are going to fail eventually. So what he did, he just looked at this huge amount of data, and baseball is like the sport with the heaviest statistics. And he just looked for the correlations inside and just managed to find out the typical career path of baseball players.
And now he turned it into journalism. Like, if it's sports, so this is what's going to happen next season at baseball because I know my math and I know that I'm almost never wrong, type of thing.
Yes, that's about it. I mean, I don't want to oversimplify because Nate Silver, as I said, is a wise man, and he is also aware of the limitations of what he's doing. But yes, in a sense, he said that you can take the same approach, and once you have sufficient data, you can just turn it and use it to look at very, very different fields. And the next field he turned to was actually politics and elections, because elections are very quantifiable. I mean, you can count the number of votes.
What do you think of his current website?
Well, I've been following 538 since the 2008 elections, when it was an independent blog. I followed it during its New York Times period. And I've seen the news site, which was launched this week. And I'm not sure, it might be too early because it's now not his site. Actually, they have a staff of 20 writers and editors. But it seems like he's trying to, I think so, he's trying to spread all over everything. And this looks like kind of taking the idea of data science and
To
turning
popular
it
culture.
to popular culture. It's like a BuzzFeed of data
A
science.
scientific BuzzFeed.
Yes, it's
Sounds cool.
it sounds cool, but it's also a bit disappointing. I mean, it's like, he's now forced to produce huge amount of content. So you have those. I've looked at the blog, which is named the Data Lab, and one of the first items was counting the calories per dollar in various McDonald's meals. So this is like an item that you could actually have on BuzzFeed.
So you're saying that he takes his all his wisdom and his intelligence to become popular and BuzzFeedy, and you don't like it. We have to finish up. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, now, the new TED conference is taking place in Vancouver these days, and Google co-founder Sergey Brin took the opportunity of hanging out with whistleblower Edward Snowden, who's attending the TED conference via a telepresence robot. Yes, he is. After that, Snowden got to the stage at TED, broadcasting via a robotic mobile camera he controlled from, well, somewhere in Russia. Snowden answered questions for half an hour from Chris Anderson, the head of TED, who was on stage in Vancouver. While despised by many, Snowden was preaching to the choir in Vancouver when Anderson asked the audience if they felt Snowden did the right thing by revealing NSA documents. They erupted with applause, reported Mashable. Here's a peek from the Snowden show.
Ed Snowden. Ed is in a remote location somewhere in Russia, controlling this bot from his laptop, so he can see what the bot can see. Ed, welcome to the TED stage. What can you see, as a matter of fact?
I can see everyone. This is amazing.
Ed, some questions for you. You've been called many things in the last few months. You've been called a whistleblower, a traitor, a hero. What words would you describe yourself with?
You know, everybody who's involved with this debate has been struggling over me and my personality and how to describe me.
Yes, it's good to be a star, even in a robotic form, Ed. And now we are all waiting for it. Yes, you did too. And now it's here. Google is officially getting into wearables. The company has announced Android Wear, a version of the operating system designed specifically for wearable devices. To start with, the system is made for smartwatches, and Google is moving aggressively to make itself the key name in wearables. Motorola and LG have already revealed their first Android Wear smartwatches, which look more attractive than any smartwatches we've seen to date. Check it and tell us, well, what time it is.
Taxi! Taxi!
That does that?
Just got a jellyfish warning.
Tri-County?
Let's go to Zuma.
Morning, kids.
Reply, be there in 2.
And we're getting up, climbing! There it is. Okay, Google, what's the Syracuse score?
So maybe this is it. This may be the start of the age of smartwatches. Are you excited? I'm not. And now, hello electronic music lovers out there. Want to make your own music, but you're too afraid to get into the tech and gizmos? This next thing might change everything. It's called Contact Musical Interface. It's pretty and it looks relatively easy to use. Let's watch it now, say something about it later. Pretty. Contact is a projected interface reimagined. It can transform any surface into not just a touch-sensitive table, but an addictive digital instrument that your senses will beckon you to play. Seriously, they will so beckon you to play. The instrument is essentially a grid with one long string in the middle. Tap anywhere on the grid or pluck that string to play a note, add more instruments, and voila, you are a musician. Easy. And now, the social watch. Wes Anderson has a new movie out, The Grand Budapest Hotel. That's a good excuse to remember that Wes Anderson is a total maniac. Here's an example of how he works with perfect symmetry, meticulously edited by Kogo Nada Studio. Wow, yeah, we really recommend the movie, The Budapest Hotel. Everybody says it's amazing, and I, well, believe everybody. And that's it. Keep with the love, devotion, and warmth on our Twitter and our Tumblr. It's TheTube24. We will be here tomorrow. Until then, listen to what Julia Roberts, you know, Julia Roberts, Pretty Woman, and other things, had to say. She said, "My real hair color is kind of dark blonde. Now I just have mud hair."